Okay, we're working on a 2013 Hyundai Sonata here today. I'm going to be showing you how to replace the starter on here. One of the first things you want to do is get this lifted up, some ramps, or get some jack stands. I just have it lifted up and have some 6-ton jack stands under there for safety. Okay, next thing you're going to take a 10 millimeter and go ahead and disconnect this negative cable and push that out of the way. Okay, the first thing we're going to work on is these plastic clips, rivets up here. Just take a Phillips, and the whole thing may come out like that. Okay, so there's those two. We also got a 10 millimeter on each end here that we need to get out. So we'll get the one on the other end. Okay, now this whole piece here will kind of slide back and come down out of the way. There's that piece. Okay, now we're going to focus on the 10 millimeters that are on these plastic pieces. We'll get these two up here. Now these are the only two that are different from any of the rest. They're black color, and they're a little bit slightly longer than the other ones. Now note how this piece on this passenger side goes first, and this one kind of pops over the top of it, kind of splits into two pieces. Okay, over here on the driver's side we got another 10. Okay, and right here in the middle, we're going to get this 10. It's like over, like where the oil filter. Okay, we're back at the back part here, kind of in the middle. Where the oil plug would be. Okay, we're on the driver's side at the back here, and this is the last 10 that's holding this side. I'll just show you that this will come down. So there we have that. Now we just need to get this other half over here. Okay, now we're on the passenger side. We just got one up here left, and then we got one at the rear. Correction, we got two more back here. This is the one on the far passenger side. Okay, there's one more back here behind where the middle piece would be. Okay, and I think okay, so it unclips from the front and these slide out. So we pop it down from the front, and then these are, you see how they slip in there. You kind of have to slide those out there. You can see those brackets, and then these are made to where they can slide over those. Okay, I wanted to back this up so I could show you something here. Yeah, it kind of like slides back, so you pop out the front first, and these two kind of slide over those areas, no big deal. Okay, so with these shields under here off, you can find your oil filter here in the front, and just right up above here is where this starter lives. We're going to go ahead and get to this. Okay, so you got the oil filter and you got these hoses running up through here. You follow them up to this 12mm right here. We're going to take that loose. All right. And there's a wire here we're going to unclip too in just a second, because it is right in my way at the moment. Alright, so I've got that broke loose. And we're going to go ahead and just take that completely out. Alright, so there's that little 12mm bolt. Okay, I've just got a little screwdriver here. I'm going to get that clip. Alright, so all you got to do is come with a screwdriver and push down on those tabs there. And it's not really wanting to focus. Okay, so anyways, you push down on those tabs and that will essentially just unclip from this bracket. So we got the bolt out of the bracket, so that there's loose now. Okay, so we got the bolt from the bracket. If you come right here, this is one of our bolts going into the starter. This is on the transmission side. We're going to come back here with a 14mm. Let me get a shorter one. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and remove. Okay, it's still a little bit too tight. We're going to completely remove this bottom 14mm here. And we will be getting to the starter. Okay, I'm going to keep working at this here. It's a long bolt. Okay, so we got that backed off and loose. Now this is the lower bolt for the starter. And now we got to get on to the upper. Okay, so I'm going to try to show you this one. It's up above this part right here. Okay, so if you come up above that, there's really no way to show you. Right there is that bolt. So you really can't hardly see it, but you can feel it. So if you come right above, like where that piece angles, the first bolt that you come to and touch with your fingers right here is going to be the top bolt to that starter. So I'm going up there with this small ratchet, and that's what I'm breaking that loose with. Now, just to show you, the starter over here will start coming loose. Now I broke this through with broke it loose with a small ratchet. There is your starter. It is loose now. Those are the only two bolts holding it. So even though you can't see it real good, you get to the bolts from this side, and then we're going to work on getting it out once we get that top bolt completely out there. Okay, so I'm just up here working this ratchet until I get this bolt completely out. It's not really that difficult. It is kind of difficult to get a shot of this where it's positioned, but I'm just going to keep using this little ratchet until I've got this bolt completely loose here. I'm probably about halfway through with it, maybe. Okay, so I've got it loose, and there's that bolt. It's just the same as the bottom bolt. Okay, just to try to show you, this is loose. We're going to push it back. And we're going to work it around here. It will come out. Okay, so I had to move the camera there. Okay, so we're going to drop this down right through here. And we're going to turn the nose up that way so we can get to these connectors down here at the bottom. Okay, this connector is supposed to have a tab you push down on here, but it's long since been broken. So we're going to have to dig it out with a pick tool. But I guess it's still together, but somehow or another it got broken. So I'll probably have to address that later. Alright, now the only other connection we got is this right here. Okay, and this is in fact a 12mm too, just like that one bracket. So just remember how we got it oriented here. We're going to put the replacement back the same exact way. Okay, so we're going to take that wire. We just popped that wire off of there. And now our connectors are loose. Okay, with our connections loose, you can see all this room we have in here to drop this down. So not too bad. If it wasn't for all the plastic shrouds underneath, it would be a really simple job. So there's that connector. Okay, so we got our replacement. We're going to nose it right back up this way, just like we came out. And we're going to turn those connectors right over here where we took them loose at. Okay, so now I'm going to start with this one that has the 12mm nut. We'll place that on there first. I've seen much worse starters. This one's not that bad. So we got that snugged up good. Pop the little rubber protective boot. And now we take our connector. This is still working. It's just a one. Got the one pin there. And surprisingly, it's holding really good. So I don't know if I'll mess with it or not. So anyways, now we just got to push this back up into here carefully, get it reoriented, and that solenoid goes on the top. So we just start wiggling it back up into place. And let me get my camera reoriented. Okay, so we've just worked it back up into here into place. Now we just have to get our bolts start it again. Okay, so we'll just start with the bottom one since it's the easiest. And you may have to spin your starter just to get it lined up at first. Okay, so I've got my 14. Of course, make sure that you've started at several threads before you go to running your wrench and stripping out threads and cross threading. But we're not going to get this one tight. We're just going to stop just short of having it tight, or back it off a little bit, and then we'll work on lining up that upper one there. Okay, now we just pretty much have to fill over the top of this one to get this into place. The very next hole that you will come across will be the one for the upper part of that starter. I'm just getting it started by hand here first. I'll get my ratchet up there with that deep 14. Okay, right now I'm just working on tightening this upper one up real good. And then we're going to hop down here on this lower one and get this snugged up really nice and tight. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put this bolt right back here on our bracket. And we got our 12. So you see what we've took loose. We, you know, the under plastic shroud. We got a wire clip. We got a wire bracket we took loose here. And other than that, just the 2 bolts for the starter and pulling it down. So we've not had to do a whole lot. I'm going to snap that back in there. Okay, so the starter is in. We're going to replace these shrouds under here. Of course, you would want to test your starter before you do this and make sure it is in fact working. So first thing, we're going to slide it right up into those areas right there. Piece on the passenger side. Okay, so we slide that up, and then we will snap our front clips in. Okay, and those front clips will hold it while we get our other piece. Okay, and this one over here has a place where it slides onto that bracket as well, but then this side just sets on to the other piece. Okay, so yeah, the good thing about the clips is it holds it while you get all your bolts into place. Remember, the 2 long black bolts go right here. The rest of them are the same. So I'm just going to work on putting all these bolts back in. You've seen how I took them out. Okay, with all those in, we just got this piece to scoot back up under the front. Okay, so we're going to start with our little clips. Snap those back in first. And try not to... And really, you can just push those in. Now we'll get the one on this side. Okay, then we just got these on both ends here. Okay, that's going to do it for this video on replacing the starter on here. It's really a pretty simple job. Just requires getting the vehicle lifted up or on some ramps and getting the shroud out from underneath it, and really it's pretty simple from there. So I hope you found the video helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. As always, I invite you to subscribe. Please leave a comment below if you wish. And thank you for watching.